Are you thinking about buying a condo? Condos are appealing because the price is often cheaper than a house, but these days they're not as affordable as they seem, and there are several reasons why I'd recommend against investing your money in a condo. In this video, I'm going to explain the reasons why I wouldn't buy a condo. I'm Kathy Williams with Team Williams, and we are your Orlando relocation experts. First, the restrictions and rules imposed by condo associations can be limiting. Rules are necessary, of course, with condos, but some associations can be very restrictive. Some condos have strict rules on how to renovate your condo, the decorations you place inside, what time you renovate it, what time of year you renovate it, if you want to rent the condo. There's a lot of potential rental restrictions you might come up against. If you're someone who doesn't want these kinds of restrictions around their home, then buying a condo is not for you. Next, let's talk about HOA fees. Condo associations charge an HOA fee typically to cover exterior maintenance, landscaping, pool maintenance, etc. If there's a pool, insurance for that, and insurance for the building itself. Here in Florida, across the country, we're seeing news about these condo HOA fees increasing like wild. It's largely because of insurance rates, I have to say, but also condos are responsible for insuring the exterior of the unit, like I said, so if this insurance rises, the burden of course falls on the condo owners. Some condo owners here in Greater Orlando have seen their HOA fees go up by 100% in recent years. These rising fees are troubling, and these increases are not limited to Florida. This is happening all over the U.S. The third reason is the risk of special assessments. A special assessment is an extra fee on top of the HOA fee to help cover a large repair or upgrade, such as a roof replacement. Condo associations charge owners a special assessment fee if there's not enough money in reserves to cover the project. Such financial hits can strain condo owners, especially those on fixed incomes who are already dealing with a rapidly rising HOA fee. These special assessment fees can be enormous, especially for condos on the coast. There's a lot of new safety laws in place in the wake of the 2021 Surfside condo crash, and I have seen assessments of tens of thousands of dollars in just 1 year. Here's a couple of examples of recent issues because of the Surfside disaster and what happened there. They implemented new regulations in Florida for restrictions for condos. So one of the things is if the condo is over a certain number of levels, so if it's more than 3 floors, typically that's the number. If it's more than that, they have to do a structural integrity test on the building, and that is going to be done intermittently every few years. They have to do that, which is very costly. So that is going to entail having structural engineers come in and check the whole building out. So you can imagine the cost of that. That's something that's going to come in to play with either a special assessment or an increase overall in your association fees. Then the other situation is because we do get hurricanes if the condo is on the coast. For example, I have a condo right now that I'm listing that they have a huge assessment because they're going to redo all the parking garage and the parking structure and the structural integrity of the parking garage. So that's a huge assessment, 25, 30, even more per unit. And usually they do the assessment per how many bedrooms you have. So the more bedrooms you have in the condo, the bigger your assessment is. So there are just a couple of examples of why these association fees have gone up so much. If you're looking at a tall building, a luxury building downtown, you want to count into the numbers on that to make sure that what are the upcoming assessments and find out what's going to happen with regard to this structural integrity testing of the building. How often is that going to happen? How much is that going to add? Is it going to be a special assessment, or are they adding that into the HOA dues? Are they going to be doing some work on the building because of these structural tests? A lot of questions to ask as you're looking at condos. Before I share the other reasons why I wouldn't buy a condo, if you're finding value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this one. The fourth reason I wouldn't buy a condo is that condos tend to appreciate slower than single family homes. When you own a condo, you don't own any land. You basically own the space within the interior walls. So because of this lack of land value and high ongoing costs like HOA fees, condos have a lower demand than single-family homes. This lower demand causes slower appreciation over time. And this brings me to the next reason why I would not buy a condo. And this is probably my biggest reason. Reselling a condo can be very challenging. You're going to have a much smaller buyer pool than if you're selling a single-family home, for all the reasons I mentioned previously. Plus, there are purchasing restrictions that limit the buyer pool even further. Say, for example, if a buyer's using financing for the purchase of your condo and they are getting an FHA loan, the condo building might not be an FHA approved building. But even if the buyer is using conventional loan, lenders have stricter requirements with condos. They like to see a certain standard for how the condo associations are conducting themselves. So lenders will often ask for the most recent association budget and other information, which is really important to have for anybody. Many times condo associations are very slow in returning this to the lender, and many times the info doesn't meet the lender's approval requirements. Also, lenders often have requirements for the number of units that are owner occupied. So if your condo complex is mostly investor owned, this can impact potential buyers. If you're purchasing a condo, it can be very tricky to be on the buyer's side if you're using financing for the reasons I mentioned before. And finally, I wouldn't buy a condo because of the noise and privacy. Now, some condos can be very peaceful, luxurious, and quiet, but the risk in buying a condo is you never know who's going to move in next door, above you, or below you. You might get someone who is stomping around all the time above you, and you will hear them through the ceiling. Perhaps you get a neighbor who yells a lot, and even if you don't have a particularly noisy neighbor, you share walls with neighbors, so there's a good chance you're going to hear your neighbors at some point. And if you're on your balcony, there's a good chance people can see you and hear you if they're outside as well. So all in all, it's not the most peaceful and private choice for a home. A condo is never the first thing I recommend to people who want to invest in a property. Although if that's your only option, there are some things you can do to minimize your risk. So if you're set on buying a condo, these are the things I recommend. First, take a good look at the exterior. Does it appear well maintained? If there's trash everywhere, the roads look like they haven't been paved in years, the landscaping is neglected, or the exterior walls look like they're in poor shape, these are red flags that the association is not properly keeping up with things. Also, be sure to investigate the HOA thoroughly. Review the rules, regulations, financials, past fee increases, and potential future assessments. I would also consider opting for a top floor unit or an end unit to minimize noise. While condos may seem like a budget-friendly choice, there are many reasons why I would stay away from condos if you can. However, I don't believe that all condos are a bad choice for everyone. I would recommend that if you can invest your money in a single-family home or townhome, consider those options first. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm Kathy Williams with Team Williams. See you next time.